What's cracking, everybody? Hold up. Let me start that over. What's cracking, everybody? There was a delay right there on the beginning of this recording. So this video was inspired by Sela Life. Sela Life has been rocking with the channel for years and doesn't comment often. But he made a comment the other day and he asked me, how am I able to continue to talk about prison after being out all these years and having served all those years? And, like he wants to put it in the back burner in his own mind, right? And that's a great question. You know, in my day-to-day life, there's probably people that are in my life that get tired of me talking about prison too, right? And it isn't that I want to talk about prison. It's, people who have been in, for an example, people that have been on the streets their whole life, right? When they run into a situation, they can relate it to another experience that they had on the streets, right? Whereas men who have done decades in prison and only a few years on the streets, when we run into a new situation, we have only a prison situation to identify with, right? And so sometimes that's just what we do. We talk about, oh man, this time. They're like, man, we don't want to hear about prison. I get it. But it's all we know. It's all we have to relate back to. Thankfully, I've been out almost 6 years. July will be 6 years I've been out. And I've had a lot of experiences out here. But something that I wanted to talk about today is this. I see sometimes in the comments people talking about how united the raza is behind the walls, and why can't it be like that out here and all this, right? And I just want to touch on that a little bit, right? I don't know where people get the idea of this whole idea of carnalismo and, brotherly love in there. And again, I'm from Southern California, so I can't speak for anyone. I don't speak for anybody. I can only speak my experiences, right? What I've seen and how things are. It is true that, when it's time to go to war, people move in unison. It is true that you have to be willing to kill or die for a vato you've never met, probably don't even hang around with on the yard, but he's in your same car, right? Those are givens. Those are mandatory expectations in there, right? But the politicking that goes on in there is it's a sad state of cannibalism that goes on, right? There's a saying in there. There's no dead weight, right? So people that think, hey, I just need to go in there and mind my own business, you do. But you're also expected to participate in some way. Not everybody's a killer, so not everybody's going to put themselves in the position to where they're going to want to kill. But you have to be prepared to do so, right? But you can make weapons, hold weapons, bring in dope, hold dope, whatever, there's going to be an expectation. And I think everybody understands that that's in that lifestyle. But this is for people that aren't in that lifestyle. People who see movies and hear somebody else's stories that maybe have never been on a level 4, right? and they just regurgitate what they heard while they were on a level 2, and they come out here with all these stories, man. Now I can say that when I first entered the CDC, remember I got busted in 93, I hit the CDC in 1994. And I remember when I first went in, prison was different. It was different. And I remember having a cellie, and I've told stories about my cellie. He had some status on the yard, and he ran me down on a lot of stuff. And one thing that the story, one of my videos, he said prison isn't fun anymore. That's him, the one over the weight pile between the blacks and the northerners when the raza from Southern California went down there to back up the raza from Northern California over the weight pile. That's the same Sally. And I remember a lot of stuff that he told me stuck in my head, man, for good reason. He was an intelligent dude, and he told me, you're going to go to the shoe a lot. He said, and every time you come out of the shoe, you're going to notice the game gets more watered down. And I don't know that it gets watered down. It changes. It shifts. Like I was going to say, when I first went into the CDC, I remember every draw for canteen, every draw. There would be homies that would buy bags of chips, and, you had the squeezable salsa and some chicharrones and some squeezed cheese, and they would bust open bags, and they would open them up on the tables, and they would buy a 6-pack of soda. Somebody else would do the same thing, buy a 6-pack or 12-pack or whatever, and buy some chicharrones. And there would be a table and it'd be busted open, all the chicharrones and chips, salsa, jalapenos, everything. And everybody was welcome. All the homies, hey, come over here and get a little bit of this, homies. And it was a display of that brotherly love, man, for everybody else on the yard to see. Like, hey, man, them dudes. Didn't mean that that's what it really was, that everybody was seeing eye to eye on everything, but it was a way to show vatos like, hey, homes, we can't do much, but let's do this. I remember, like, they'd be on a Saturday, and be hot, and they would run open line. Excuse me. They would open up the canteen, run open line, right? And, a few of us would go down there and, buy some pints of ice cream, and boom, sharing ice creams with homies. And over the years, you didn't see that as much. You just didn't. Things had changed, but, and I don't know what it was, man. I can't put my finger on it. And I don't know. It just seemed like people that had game, that knew the game, instead of lacing youngsters up, would hold that knowledge and use it as a weapon. Not everyone, not dudes that I kicked it with, but I noticed it, man. And I was like, damn, man, things. I always remembered my cellie when he ran me down that stuff, right? And, I really just want to do this video, man, so people understand, like, don't have this whole idea that prison, if you do go, it's going to be fun. It's never fun, man. There's no happiness in there. You have people that never did drugs that get in there and develop a habit because they're trying to escape the reality of the ugliness inside those walls. And as far as like DPs, I shout out to Big Chill, 16 to Life channel. I saw he did a video. I didn't watch the video, but I saw the title, and he talked about seeing his first DP in prison. And what some people just didn't get, and what a lot of people out here don't know, is if you're a raza and you're from Southern California, your discipline is getting stabbed. That's a tune-up, I've heard people talk about, oh yeah, you know, the Southerners, they stabbed it. That's just, you know, it's just, if you're lucky, if it isn't, you know, and it just depends, man. It just depends on what it is. If you're lucky, they may just ask you to go stab somebody. And if you say no, well, then you get it. Both of you get it. You and the guy you should have went and got. I don't mean to laugh, man, but prison is a very brutal place. Doing time in California is extremely violent. Thankfully, California doesn't have the race riots behind the walls that it used to have, because everyone is on the yard now. Before, there would be a lot of egos in the way. People want to flex. You know, the 96 riot in New Folsom didn't have to happen. It was people flexing. The 2000 riot in Pelican Bay really didn't need to happen. That was some bully stuff. See, those people can't get their egos in the way now because you have legends that are actually on the yard now. They decide. And it's different. I know I'm lightweight rambling on this video, but I just really wanted to paint a picture for people who don't know, man. Prison is not a fun place. I'm sure you already know that. But you should also know that when you get in there, if you put yourself in a position where you have to be incarcerated, the one that's going to put the knife in you is going to be the guy that you trust the most. You know why? Because you don't put your guard up when he comes near you, unless you know better, right? I guess I should just end on that note, because that's the reality. That's how it is. I wish there was an opportunity, man. I mean, there is an opportunity. Thousands of lifers have gotten out, but I would like to see more rehabilitation behind the walls, man. I would like to see that people are given more hope, because they want to come home, man. They want to come home. And a lot of the ones that aren't coming home, it's because of an addiction, you know. Anyways, that's my video for the day, man. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. I know it's Saturday. Wow, it's Saturday when I'm recording this. This will be up forever. Today we're going to be watching Ryan Garcia and Tank Davis fight. Everybody, please be safe, man. I know everybody's going to want to have a beer, have fun, go out and eat. Just, hey, remember there's Uber. Be safe, be smart, and tell the ones you love that you love them, right? I'm out.